Welcome to Bleav In 76ers with your hosts, former 76ers point guard Eric Snow and two Sixers fanatics in Marcus and Teja Dash. Bleav In 76ers is presented by BetOnline.AG.
BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BLEAV50, that's BLEAV50, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bleav In 76ers podcast. I'm Marcus Dash here with former legendary 76ers point guard Eric Snow and my brother Teja Dash. Gentlemen, I'm sure we all got a chance to see the little altercation that happened in Turkey. It happened in Georgia, I believe, but with our guy Furkan Korkmaz. You guys got a chance to see all that?
Yeah, gotta stay with your people over there, I guess. Rough.
Saw Furk giving everyone the turkey wing. That's what he was doing.
Yeah.
So that's what the move's called, apparently, the based in turkey wing.
Hopefully got some hits in.
Yeah. I will say I posted the clip on the Bleav In 76ers YouTube channel, the clip of them getting into a fight, and we've had over 6,000 views on it, and it's like I see a lot of Georgians and a lot of Turkish the people getting arguments on that, who's at fault there, and they're saying the Turkish media is making up the fact that they're the Georgian security guards were fighting him in the tunnel and stuff. They're saying it's made up by the Turkish media, so it's kind of going to become a global nightmare. That's
what we're doing. We're in the middle of it, man. We're right in the middle of the story. We're in the Turks and the Orange together, man.
No person over there.
Did you ever play overseas? Did you, Eric?
With the NBA, yeah, we played but not in play for.
You never played with any of those
only with my team I played over there.
Oh, okay. Just curious to see if you ever gotten did you ever hear any stories like this before in Europe in these off-season leagues?
Yeah, I have some people that played in Europe, and they just said whatever you can think of, it's probably happened or will happen.
Wow,
that's kind of what they've told me.
No,
so I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm blessed to be over here.
Yeah.
So not a lot going on in the Sixers world. The Furkan Korkmaz is probably the number one thing going on in the Sixers world, but there have been some kind of speculation of rumors that we may be in on some guys from the Utah Jazz, and that's where we'll start the show tonight. Now the Utah Jazz have finally traded away Donovan Mitchell after months of speculation of where he was going to go. He's gone now, and now experts are saying the Utah Jazz are going to begin their fire sale, and there's some realistic names out there that we could be in line for, and maybe guys are maybe not realistic for us to go for. But rumors are saying, linking the Sixers to Jordan Clarkson is one of the guys. Rudy Gay is another guy who's been linked to us. I don't know if it's really serious, but as a possible landing spot. And then Bogdanovich, and then Beasley. So my question to you guys, of those guys in Utah, who would be one that you think we should try to go for if any of those guys are available?
I like a lot of those guys, but I think at the end of the day, it's really about helping your team the most, and the way you do that is finding someone that helps basically your best players the most. And I think if you can go with Bogdanovich and find size and three-point shooting all in one player, I Bleav Teja said that the last episode, you just never get enough of guys like that. You can never get enough. So he would obviously be the first choice for me because of that.
Yeah, that'd be ideal. That's unfortunately it's probably the most I don't know. Conley makes a lot too. As far as realistic salary, you're talking about Bogdanovich, and then you're talking about salary with Tobias or something and consolidate.
Yeah, I mean, he would have to be like a higher salary player.
Yeah. If we heard Bogdanovich coming to the Sixers, then that's the start of Tobias being out for a couple of players, right? But yeah, if we're not talking about salary mattering, I'd go Bogdanovich hands down.
Yeah.
If salary is a problem, I know the popular answer is Clarkson, and I used to be totally on board with that. I think I'd rather go Beasley.
I would go Beasley if salary isn't
a problem.
Yeah,
his catch and shoot rate is too high, man. He can, and like you said, help your best players. You pair him with any of our other guys who take up double and triple teams, Beasley's knock him down like that. I mean, I know Clarkson can create, but we don't really need that as much when you have guys like Maxey and Harden, one of those two guys on the court almost all times. I don't know how much creating we need for a guy like that. So if a guy can catch and shoot like the way Beasley does, I'd probably rather go him, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I like Carson a lot. I would take Carson. But I just
sure. Oh, yeah.
Fit. I think he can work. I just think that he's more of a 1-2, and Malik can kind of fill the 3 a little more from a size standpoint.
Yeah, I just think play to our strengths. I mean, again, I'd be fine with Clarkson if they want to consolidate some of our players for Clarkson. But yeah, I'd probably go Beasley ahead of Clarkson. I don't think we have a need for Conley. That contract's too big anyway. I don't think we have a need for Gay. Really, we have a couple guys who do that now. Actually, we have
I think
we have Niang.
I think we served the Rudy with the former Houston guys coming over. That's solve the Rudy Gay. There's kind of similarities as far as what's needed. But yeah, I like Jordan Clarkson. I mean, I would say Jordan Clarkson and Beasley are somewhat equal as far as the effectiveness here, even though their games are different. But I wouldn't say that Jordan Clarkson wouldn't be needed. I say he can, because he still does something. Even though we got Melton, Melton's probably more similar to Beasley than he is Jordan Clarkson, in my opinion, for what their roles are going to be. So I do think that Jordan Clarkson can have a role here.
Yeah, instant offense can be used anywhere, I'd say.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because I was going to ask, because a lot of the Sixers fans online said that having Clarkson with Melton off the bench would be kind of a redundancy, kind of a redundant asset between the two of them. But I mean, having them
I don't think. I mean, either I think Melton is. I don't think he'll be used the way Jordan Clarkson would be used.
Nah.
I think Jordan Clarkson's probably more similar to the way Maxey would be used in Melton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. Just instant offense. I don't think Melton. I think Melton's gonna be kind of like a glue guy at guard for us. Good compliment.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how we utilize Melton, and that kind of leads us to our next question. If no moves are made, it's likely that no more moves are going to be made for our squad, other than probably maybe cutting some salaries since we're over the limit. But if no more moves are made for us, how would you guys rank the offseason acquisitions? Which one of the 3 guys we brought in this offseason will probably move the needle the most this year? We have PJ Tucker, Daniel House, and then the DeAnthony Melton trade. Of those 3, which one is probably going to be the one by the end of the year? We're like, wow, we can point to that one and say, yep, this made a huge difference for our team this year.
If I had to rate them, I would probably say Melton 1, PJ 2, and House 3 right now. But I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the year PJ's impact was bigger, because I think PJ can make a bigger impact without it being numbers-wise. But I do think that the Melton pickup with James, having a full year of him and not really wanting to extend his minutes, and then Maxey, I know we got great, expectations for him, but we truly don't know. So I think filling that void, to me, was very important. And I also think that PJ, I don't think he'll do less from a standpoint of what he's able to do. I just think that having Tobias, his responsibilities won't be maybe as high as, because Tobias is there as well.
That's interesting. I wasn't expecting that, but yeah, I have a pretty similar answer. So I have a regular season ranking and a playoffs ranking. I'd say House is number 3 in both those lists. But regular season ranking, I'd go Melton 1, PJ 2. I just don't see us running Tucker wild as far as minutes, and we shouldn't. I hope we don't. Tucker's our playoff guy, in my opinion. I think we should manage his minutes, give him rest when he needs it. If he's tired in the playoffs at that age, it's going to show. So I just think Melton's going to be a guy we rely on off the bench whenever we split up the Harden Maxey. First guy to come off the bench between those two guys, or for one of those two guys, will be Melton. So I just think he's going to be so important in the regular season, playoffs too. But I think he'll be more important in the regular season, just to spell those guys and start when Harden is sitting. You start Maxey and Melton. We lose scoring obviously, but defense is a big uptick. And yeah, Tucker goes without saying that he'll just be massive in the playoffs, more than he'll be in the regular season.
Yeah, and I agree with what Eric said. What Tucker brings is not really more the numbers aspect. It's what he brings. It's the intangibles. It's the stuff that kind of the rah guy, the guy you can lean on.
Yeah, but you need energy to be the dog, right? That it takes a lot to. He was face guarding like Harden at like half court in those games, man. You got to be fresh to be doing that. I mean, so got a multi-year deal from us. I mean, Tucker's not a guy who's going to mail it in. He's never going to do that, but he is going up there in age, so we got to be responsible for him because he's not a guy that wants to sit. You can just tell. So we have to be the ones to be like, all right, we're going to get you down to like 26, 28 minutes for the next couple of weeks here.
Yeah.
I mean, has he been a guy? I mean, he played in 71 games last year of his 82. I mean, didn't really sit out many games.
I thought he's been consistent as far as playing a high number among the games.
Yeah.
He has. His minutes have always been crazy because he's good in most lineups. That's the thing. But if you want to conserve him, not only for this year, but for the next 3 years of his contract, I just think we need to be smart about how he manages minutes. That's all. I mean, he played well beyond what Miami, I think, was expecting from him last year. And we can't – I don't think we can expect that to continue at that high rate as he ages and get into his 40s. We guys can be smart. We have to manage it a little bit, not have him play 35 minutes a night every night.
Yeah.
I mean, looking here, it shows 71 last year, 52 the year before, 72, 82, 82. I mean, he's pretty –
what are his minutes per game are high, right?
His average minutes per game. Yeah, I mean, his average career is 29 minutes a game. But last year he played 27.9, so 28.
Smart for Miami to do that too.
Yeah. And the year he played 52 games, 26 minutes. When he was with Houston.
Takes a big jump up, doesn't it? 34?
So 2017, 2018, 27.8 minutes, 2018, 2019, 34 minutes, 2019, 2020, 34.3 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, that's.
And he was playing up in position a lot of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why he got so many minutes, because he would fill in at 4, 3, 5, whatever they needed him to. Yeah. So I'd rather have the Miami minutes than the Houston minutes. How about that? That's
yeah.
And that's why he was fresh in the playoffs last year, because Miami manages minutes. It was smart of them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We have House, so there's no
depth at that position.
Yeah, we have Niang, House. You don't have to do that.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so we led off the show with the Furkan fight, so that's our final topic of the night. It's going to be a fun one here. So for people who don't know, this weekend, our guy Furkan Korkmaz got into an altercation after being ejected from a European basketball game for Team Turkey, where he reportedly fought around 4 Georgian players and security guards once he went into the tunnel. On our YouTube channel, a lot of the Georgians are saying that didn't happen. It's made up by the Turkish media, but Furkan did say it, and so did the coach, that this did happen. So then, following that video going viral, Jordan Niang tweeted on Twitter saying to Furk, "Yo, you good? You need backup over there?" So it begs the question. So, Eric, if you had 4 guys trying to fight you on the court, which Sixers teammate of yours would you want by your side? So this is during your era in Philadelphia.
Sixers teammates, right?
Sixers teammate, yeah.
Sixers teammates.
And then if you were to play now, which current Sixers player would you want from this team by your side?
And how many am I naming?
I mean, if you have a short list, you give us a short list, but give us a triangle match. If it was like a wrestling match, give us a triangle match.
I can name 3 people, 3 former teammates from Philly. Rick Mahorn, Derrick Coleman, and Vern Maxwell.
Wow, that's funny. I had all 3 of those guys on my list.
But if I could clone someone, I would have 3 Derrick Colemans.
Oh man! So Coleman wins. So Coleman wins then.
In a heartbeat, I have 3 Derrick Colemans.
Oh man!
But yeah, those are the first 3 that probably come to mind. DC was just, and then Rick Mahorn is Rick Mahorn, and Vern is by far the
Mad Max.
He is someone you want in your corner. Someone you want in your corner. Max, boy, he was great. He was awesome. Great.
Someone you don't want against your corner.
Oh, no. None of those guys.
Most guys that you want in your corner, you do not want against you.
But you know the thing about Max and is DC is like they'll take it off the court, out of the locker room. Every time they see you, like they different breed, man. Different breed right there, man.
Man. Yeah.
As far as current,
actually, no. Before you get to current, since you asked, what if we were doing all teammates from all teams? I want to hear that too. Actually, if you have a different,
man, I would still take those Philly guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, only other guys that maybe I'll take outside of that was Frank Bukowski, without a doubt.
Seattle days, right?
Yeah, the late Jerome Kersey. He was so strong. Like it was like he grabbed me and moved me one day. I thought it was 5 people doing it. It was just him. Let me see who else. GP. I'll take Crazy Gary.
Yeah.
And then Terry Cummings, old school Terry Cummings, strong as an ox, man.
So these are all like are some of these things that you saw against like other players? You were like, damn.
I saw against other players and some of them kind of knowing their mentality. Some of them knowing just their strength.
Yeah, and you running
into them and all of that, and kind of seeing them. Some guys see them in the weight room. So for different reasons, that's why I was saying if I had to pick one person, Derrick Coleman without a doubt.
Wow,
with no hesitation, and Vern would be second.
Yeah,
so my Philly and Rick, but I had Rick when he was older and more relaxed. But younger Rick, I'm sure he would have been right up there with DC.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
Mahorn's name stuck out to me when I was looking at it. I was like, are we thinking about like?
Yeah, see, a lot of these guys, if you aren't really paying attention, you wouldn't really know, like, sort of who I played with. Outside of really DC, you wouldn't really, you haven't really followed my career like that and really been into it. Some of these guys you wouldn't even know, they were teammates. So,
I had the same exact 3. Obviously, Mahorn and Coleman is just straight up size. They're just huge guys. On top of the attitude part, they're huge. I had another guy in there strictly off looks. If you had him in your corner, it'd be pretty intimidating. Was Matt Geiger? Just having him in your corner too off looks, you'd be like, who would want to get?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
you had Geiger, Mahorn, and Coleman.
Matt is not going. He's not a fighter. Matt
it would be all
Matt more a lover than a fighter, man.
It would be to stop the fight from happening when they see Matt next to him. What?
Now he did intimidate people with his size.
We're good. Yeah,
Matt's a cool guy. Matt was like, no, he's trying to avoid that stuff.
Laid back, yeah.
Okay. He's too laid back, man. That good life. He wasn't really like that.
Yeah, that was pure like looks though to show him. All right, never mind, man. You brought your boys. Forget it.
Was Tractor Trailer, because you played with him in Cleveland, right? Was he a tough son of a gun?
Yeah, Track was tough. But Track was like, he wasn't gonna mess with Track. But Track was a really nice guy. Like some of these guys, they was just like really nice guys. I didn't really personally experience them, that other side of them. Some of them I kind of seen it, so I kind of know. Like, so some of them you hear stories, some of them you kind of experience it. So just naming some, it doesn't mean that other guys wouldn't make the list. This is just the top guys. I mean, that was just
no, of course, yeah,
the top guys on there.
Oh yeah. The top 10 of this list would be still. I mean, the 10th guy would be pretty. Here's an interesting question though, because size wise, not intimidating. But AI is someone who I wouldn't think that would ever back down to anybody. So
no, without a doubt. I mean, if it's a different question, you just want somebody. If I'm just saying, somebody I want in my corner,
yes,
he's there. You know what I'm saying? Like we're just saying based on Furk's situation with his team, like based on that situation. Yeah.
Now, and Marcus and I were talking about this too, like, being big Sixer fans for a long time, I didn't see a lot of guys test Iverson. Even in the beginning of his career, not a lot of guys were like, let's see this guy's about it. Because he is, and he was.
Yeah, I think you guys didn't really have to test him because they seen his toughness in playing. I mean, you see someone his size, and you kind of see what he does. But I think he was just so real with people. Like, he wasn't really, like, guys didn't dislike him. You know what I'm saying? Like, guys genuinely really liked him. Like, you didn't have, so we never really had a lot of guys to like go at him, and like you had guys that try to rough him up because of that was more to try to wear him down more so to kind of get to him. But that stuff didn't work. So, I mean, pretty soon, guys are like, man, I'm not getting fouls, just trying to, I'm going to foul out, just trying to knock him down.
Good, interesting.
Get back up and still give us 50. Like, what are we doing here?
It started in the mid-'90s, and that's when everyone always tries to draw comparisons to now being snuff in comparison to the '90s. Granted, they probably talk about early '90s, but still, mid-'90s had a little of the leftover toughness of the early '90s.
Yeah, I mean, I think guys were still trying him, but it was done differently. Like the coming off screens and just hitting guys, like you couldn't really do that. So you would try to punish him as far as making him come off pick and rolls and then getting a little hit in, or posting him up, getting a little hit in. Like that's sort of how you did it. But to just going and taking him out, that stuff was, fading. But people would knock him down like all the time if he went in for a layup. I mean, they tried to get him, but he got back up.
Yeah, he's a little cat, man. Crazy.
Yeah, the only evidence I saw was when '96, his rookie season, when Sixers were playing the Bulls, Rodman and him got into a little thing. When Iverson was going for a rebound, Rodman kind of slapped him in the face, and Iverson pushed him up out of bounds. And then I think Weatherspoon broke it up, and a couple other guys broke it up, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Leave it to Robin to be the only guy to actually try to test Iverson a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't with him his first year, so I'm sure it probably happened more so than. But from my experience when I joined the team, he had had went through the circle, so it wasn't as established.
Yeah,
it wasn't like that. He was more established, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe I came his second year. So, and that was in January of the second year, I believe, either second or third year, second thing.
So there was the second part of the question on this current Sixers team. Who do you think would be the guys that Furkan would call for that as far as the reinforcement types, again, the Derrick Coleman types on this current roster?
PJ.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Team
probably
made up like that. I mean, I guess you could take Joel from a size standpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some guys surprise you, though. Remember the whole Cat Embiid thing? Simmons had a good headlock on Cat, man.
Yeah.
That surprised me. When I saw that, I was like, okay, Ben. Like, that was the most,
Reed,
yeah.
I throw Niang in there, too. Niang doesn't
Niang. I mean, he's offering.
Yeah,
He is.
I wonder how for real he is about that. Would you actually fly out there if he needed you? If he's like, yeah, man, come
I
out here.
think he would fly out there to do that, but
I think international assassin.
He would generally help him if he was here, but I'm not saying that.
Yeah, how fast can you be here?
Yeah, that's a little different. Yeah. But I understand what he's saying. Yeah.
Like 3 days. Give me one to fly, a couple days for jet lag, and then I'll be all right. Then we can start it up. Yeah, I think the easy answer would be TJ. But hey, man, this team needs an enforcer. We've been saying it. I don't know, man. Furkan is a turkey wing. I think he might be a guy off the bench that might be an enforcer in the future, man.
He is showing a little bit like that little tenacity, though.
Grit.
Yeah.
Throwing people off him. He was back in throwing the ref off him at one point.
Yeah, you don't want to see all that, though, Teja. All you want to do is see Furk shoot a three.
Yeah, you did right. You damn right. But hey, if that makes him hit it, then
yeah, I mean, fight through them screens and shoot a three. He good from your standpoint.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's all I care about. The only thing I want to see move is the net for Furk. All right.
And the guy he did get into his face, though, was significantly shorter than him. So I mean, that's he's not gonna be facing that many guys, like that in the league. Because we're
a couple of those dudes were NBA players, though.
The guy he got to fight with wasn't, though, the main dude.
One of them was. What's his name from Indiana, I think. I forgot his name. But yeah, one of them for sure is an NBA player.
Yeah, you got to really think about what was going on for them to do that. Like, what was this conversation about? Like, what? Yeah, it was more than just an argument.
Yeah. He got ejected too for that. He got ejected before.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like this. Yeah, so it was then for them to take it there, and that many people to take it, like.
For security guards to get involved too. That's also another thing. It's like there's the ones who got involved also with players.
So something was being said, or either it was some previous history there or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy.
It is crazy. Pulling Carmelo, man, going to the bus.
Who?
Remember the Carmelo story? And he was waiting by the bus. I forgot who that was with. Who was that with?
Oh, man. Look, Derrick Coleman. We were in the locker room, and DC still had us. Like usually when you play a game, you still you kind of take your stuff off or cut your tape off and get maybe your ice bags before the coach, unless the coach comes in and talk right away. But sometimes they kind of take their time to come in and post game talk. So DC locker was beside mine. It was beside mine, but we had lockers in between. So it was just he and I in the back corner. So and he was sitting there and his leg was shaking. You know how you just like shaking your leg? Like you think about something, and he was like fully dressed, like shoes on, warm up on, uniform, everything's still on. Usually you kind of take the wet clothes off and maybe put a dry shirt on or something like that. Everything's still on. Didn't say a word. I asked him, "You all right?" Didn't say a word, just looked at me. So with DC, I kind of know when he just look at me, I kind of know what that means. Like just let him be.
Yeah.
So he just looked at me. I was like, "All right, man, I'll talk to you later, man." And then coach came in and spoke. And as soon as coach was finished, we brought it in. And then I turned around and DC was gone. And we know what happened then. That's their
other locker room?
That's wherever he needed to go to find whoever he was going to find.
Dude, we went to a
DC didn't play, man. Like he was, but he's the nicest dude. Like that's the craziest part. It's like he the nicest guy, man. Very helpful and talk to him even to this day. Like very smart guy, read, do all that stuff. But man, when you get on this bad side, like
play,
man, it's like man.
Was some of that like competitive spirit? Like would he like foul hard in practice, but you knew you were all good with him, but he was just fouling hard because that's how he played type thing?
Nah, he didn't really he wouldn't really do something just to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't just like, you know how some people try to come out and enforcing is like their game.
Yeah.
Like Derrick Coleman was arguably one of the most talented guys I've ever played with, just from a basketball standpoint. So usually someone that talented isn't really like that because they don't really need to be like that to kind of make their way in the league.
Exactly, yeah.
But he was like that and he was that skilled. You know what I'm saying? It was very interesting dynamic. But you know, I tell people all the time, I'm like, look, man, I played against a lot of very good power forwards, and I believe Charles Barkley used to say it all the time, like how talented Derrick Coleman was. Like he was up there. Like he was really, really good.
His game would transfer too. He'd be great now.
Different breed now. Well, he was. Oh, now if he played now, because you know him, like guys like him and Rasheed, because they would be centers, and they could shoot, and both of them could use both hands. Like they would be very, very effective.
Yeah.
So
that's great, man.
Did you ever get the backstory on what he was upset about that day?
Yeah, I'm gonna let that one go.
Okay.
It's a few stories like that, but I'll just give you the first part of it, you know, how his mentality was.
We went to a Wizards-Sixers game a long time ago, and we sat my sister-in-law at the time worked for an agency, so she got us like the really up on the court seat. So we were right there. And my brother, one of my brothers, not him, with another one, started getting drunk. And he was mouthing off. Obviously, I'm a Sixer fan. I was a Sixer fan then too. He was not. So he started getting real mouthy with you guys, man. And he started yelling he was all over Coleman, man. He was all over Coleman. And you could just see it too. And it's crazy to be that. It was my first time being that close.
Yeah.
That close to the point where you know they can hear you. It's not like, oh, I'm going to yell and say random stuff.
Yeah.
Something will get through.
And you can't even really see who was saying it. Yeah.
Dude, it was close enough you could have a conversation with you guys. It was crazy, dude. And when they sit at the block on foul shots, you talk to them and like eye contact because I can hear you. And he used to stare at us, and I was like, dude. I mean, we weren't even worried about people coming out, but I was like, Coleman, man, I wouldn't do that. And he didn't care. And you could tell he was hearing because he'd hear my brother, you're a bum, yeah, you can't make a shot. And he'd be begging for the ball back. He'd like, come on, McKee, give the ball back, man. Like that.
Philly's an interesting place.
Few guys gave that. And I remember another one was my brother also, we went to a Miami Heat game against the Wizards, and Zoe was also not having either. So when he'd be across staring at us, he would just be giving my brother the worst look, man. You want no part of it. And Zoe's another guy.
Yeah, I mean, guys, like, you know, people don't realize that you can get people ejected. Like you can do it if they, you know, saying something that you deem is they shouldn't say. But I mean, back then guys didn't do that. They'll just rather if you're close enough, you know, it's a loose ball, you better watch out.
Yep. It was incidental. I was just going for the ball. I mean, I would think about doing that too if I was playing. Crazy, man. Yeah. I was Alonzo Mourning.
I'm sure if the situation would have called for it, guys, DC would have went in there and go for the ball without a doubt.
Yeah. I was definitely scared of him that day. Even though I was on the same side. I was like, I'm a Sixer fan. That ain't me.
That's funny.
So after we ended the show, some news happened, and the Sixers got the backup big we've been talking about for months in Montrezl Harrell, 2-year deal worth $5.2 million. So let me ask you guys, what are your initial thoughts on the 76ers signing of Montrezl Harrell to be Embiid's backup 5?
Awesome from my standpoint. He's a guy that we know can do his job. Serviceable. He can fill in as a starter at times. Possibly play beside him depending on who you're playing. And I think playing with Doc previously, and that would help that dynamic. But he's a guy that we definitely needed, definitely used his toughness and his ability to be ready to play. And at the same time, he's the guy that we can give the ball to down low that can get some points and buckets.
Yeah, Teja, what were your thoughts? And I think it's fitting on an episode we're talking about guys you want in your corner. In case anything ever goes down, we sign Montrezl Harrell. I think that's funny.
Would you change your PJ Tucker pick, Snow?
Yeah, he would be on the list. Yeah, okay. He'd be on the list. Yeah. He'd be on there.
You go down to Tucker and Harrell, the Tucker, Harrell, and Furk in a triangle match, cage match. I like it. We've been saying for a long time, we've been big agreement on this show that we didn't think they would go into the season with Reed and Bassey as backup bigs. It just didn't seem right. It didn't seem like they were going to do that. I guess the reason why we didn't go for Keith is because we wanted to wait this out. We wanted to wait the legal process out for Harrell. And Keith didn't want to wait for that. So it blew over, and we got the guy we probably wanted for a long time to be the next backup big who's going to take probably
I didn't even realize he was out there. Like, I don't know why. Maybe I thought he was.
Well, everyone crossed him off because the weed charge. So when that kind of blew over, it was like, okay, what's the best backup big available now? And apparently Harden talked him into it, and Doc. I mean, he already has familiarity with Doc, and I know him and Embiid have gotten into it a couple times. But so hopefully, he's probably goes, "Yo, cool with this?" Like, yeah, I mean, he's fine with it. Come on, just sign. But yeah, it's. I think it's great, man. We've had really good success with veteran bigs who have been overlooked and overvalued by other teams. White, Drummond. I think he fits totally with that. I think he'll have a really good year with us. I think he'll spot start really well, and I think he'll fill in for the non-Embiid minutes really well. I think it's a great signing. I love it.
Yeah.
What does it tell you that he signed for 2 years? Because I was surprised by that. I thought that would just be like a 1-year deal.
It's one and a player option.
Okay.
So it's probably. I mean, he's probably doing what everyone else did with us. Howard and Drummond taking the year, looking good with us, maximizing to get a bigger contract somewhere else, maybe.
Yeah. Salary probably dictates the 1 year. There's no need for you to get locked up multi-year. Yeah, because you may play out of that salary.
And maybe he knows next year if he's not going to get it, the money that he wants, he'll come back. I mean, if it's a good situation, it's a good situation.
It's his option, so it helps.
So we'll just see. But I mean, I think it's a good move. I really do. I love it. I know a lot of Philly fans are really hyped on. We're hyped on Reed and Bassey, and it doesn't mean you have to stop developing them. It just means that we want more of a sure thing, man. Like I said, I think last week or the week before, Embiid's going to miss a lot of games, and he has in the past, and there's no reason, again, to run him ragged during the season. If you have a guy who's a competent backup that you're not in development mode, then put him in there and let him play, and don't run Embiid ragged with 38 minutes a game, 35 minutes a game. Lower him.
Could this mean there's an odd man out between Bassey or Reed? Could one of them be possibly cut? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know we have a lot of guys on the roster now. So
it's possible. It's definitely possible.
A lot. They have some kind of plan, though, right? Because they were always, if they were telling Keith to wait till they could figure this out, they were always planning on signing one more guy, whether it was Keith or Harrell. So that was going to happen. So I assume they have a plan for what else to do to get under that number now.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see.
It's all day to trade or cutting some of those non-guaranteed salaries or partial guaranteed salaries.
But all right, well, that does it for us. Thanks for tuning in to Bleav In 76ers, presented by BetOnline. We'll see you guys next week.